Welcome back to episode 5 of Why64. We're aiming for a slightly shorter experience today. Now, before you grab the pitchforks and torches, hear me out. I've been analyzing the channel's retention stats, and the numbers show room for improvement. I have a habit of lingering on the technical fluff, so we're testing a tighter structure to see if it delivers a better flow. That said, it's a great week overall. Pre-orders are going live for my new book. I just completed the second draft on another, and my birthday is fast approaching. So before I leave the ripe old age of 52 behind, let's dive in to this week's selection. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're new to the channel, my name is Stephen Bias. This series, Why64, is a love letter to the time I spent gaming with my son Andrew. Throughout this journey, I'm counting down my top 50 favorite games on the Nintendo 64, but with a twist. We're tackling them completely out of order, which means you have no idea what ranking or game is coming up next. As always, we start with a story, and this is about how a single video game can connect two people and bring them closer than ever. I met my wife Rachel, who I've been happily married to for 27 years now, back in 1999. My son Andrew was accepting of her right from the start, but the two of them tended to stay at arm's length. It wasn't that he was dismissive of her, it was just a product of the times. Back in the 90s, well, at least for West Virginia, most fathers after a divorce only got their kids for 4 hours on a Wednesday evening and every other weekend. Co-parenting hadn't become a popular buzzword yet, and the court system certainly wasn't interested in nuance. They just wanted you out of their hair and on to the next case. Because of that schedule, we never had enough time for everyone in the house to truly gel. They got along fine, sure, but just as things were starting to feel natural, it was time to pack him up and send him back to his other home. Fast forward to September 2002, Andrew's mother needed surgery, so he came to stay with us for 2 full weeks while she recovered. Monday the 16th was his first full day with us. I'd gone out and picked him up a brand new GameCube game that launched that very day. I brought it home, booted it up with Andrew sitting right beside me, and we were both completely mesmerized. We played for about 2 hours before wrapping up, completely unaware of what was happening behind us. My wife Rachel, who, as I mentioned on streams before, is not a gamer, had been sitting on the couch watching intently the entire time. The second we turned the console off to go do something else, she turned it right back on and started playing it herself. The next day I came home from work around 6, and there they were, Andrew and Rachel sitting on the floor playing it together. From that Tuesday straight through Friday, they played every single night until it was time for bed. And that weekend, it was all they did. I remember it so fondly because I wanted to watch a football game on Sunday and couldn't get near the TV. The second week flew by and neither of them had put it down. When it was finally time for Andrew to return to his mother's the following Sunday, he hugged Rachel goodbye and handed her the memory card. He left it with her so that when I went out to buy our own copy, which I promptly did, she wouldn't lose her progress. From that point until Christmas of that year, every single time Andrew came over, you'd find the two of them covered in potato chip crumbs, drinking sodas and glued to the system. I'd sit at my desk working on articles or writing drafts, listening to the two of them laughing and shouting, "Oh my God, we don't have that one yet." They bonded over that game, and they grew closer. Fast forward to 2010, when Rachel and I brought our daughter home. Andrew kissed my wife on the cheek and said, "You're going to be a great mother." She smiled and said, "Oh yeah?" And he looked at her and said the words I'll never forget. "Well, you were to me." Sure, there was far more to their relationship than just this video game, but this game was the spark, the catalyst, and it grew from there. Now I know what you're thinking. Wait a minute, Stephen, you're cheating. The game you're talking about is on the GameCube, and this is a Nintendo 64 list. Oh, but the game that lands right here at our number 10 spot, a selection requested by Dark Templar 28 and Timsky 28, is none other than Animal Forest. This is the very first Japanese exclusive game on our list, and it relies on a notoriously buggy English translation patch. I know some purists out there might sour on this choice, but I had to include it. Without this game, The franchise simply doesn't exist, and let's be honest, this series kept about 75% of the country sane back in 2020. It's an absolute must-play. The funny thing is, I've actually played the original Japanese version on real hardware. Man, I can't read Japanese. You'd be surprised how far you can get just on intuition, or by having played the other games in the series. Lately, I've been playing the English patched version on my Summer Cart 64, and while I'm still early in, it hasn't broken on me yet, though I've heard it eventually will. So why the hell is a game that most of you can't read, and one that might break halfway through if you patch it, sitting in the top 10? How did it rank this high? How? Well, give me a minute to tell you why, beyond the story I gave you before. Look at the GameCube version you've probably played. The core structural loop on the Nintendo 64 is identical. That bastard Tom Nook slamming you with crippling debt, the fishing and bug catching collections, KK Slider performing on Saturday nights, the distinct villager personalities, and that addictive hit of interior design, it was all there. Nintendo had crafted something truly special with Animal Force, but get this, it was originally built to be a Nintendo 64 DD game, but when the 64 DD belly flopped into the Pacific Ocean, Nintendo had to improvise. Since the standard Nintendo 64 couldn't track real-time hours, they soldered a dedicated real-time clock chip along with a tiny battery directly onto the physical game cartridge itself. It's the only Nintendo 64 game in history to use that tech. In Animal Forest, you play as a young villager striking out on your own, moving to a town you get to name, ready to spread your wings and fly from the nest. On the train ride over, you meet a friendly fellow who mentions he has a buddy in town who can hook you up with a house. But when you arrive, you meet a real scumbag named Tom Nook. He shows you a complete shithole, charges you an arm and a leg for it, and then basically forces you into indentured servitude at his shop, making you run meaningless errands just to start paying off your debt. Now, the game never really explains why you'd put up with this, so I always added my own backstory. You're actually on the run for a crime you didn't commit, and you just had plastic surgery to disguise yourself. You have zero cash, no options, and you accidentally stumbled into this bizarre town. To me, that headcanon is the only logical reason a guy would move into a place with no money, no home, and immediately surrender his life to a raccoon in an apron. The gameplay loop is stupidly simple. You log in, catch fish, grab bugs, check your mail, talk to neighbors, and piss off the villagers you hate so someone better moves in. You slowly chip away at the insurmountable debt. And you can even collect and play actual Famicom games right inside your virtual house. It sounds silly on paper, but before long, you have a beautiful, custom decorated home that reflects your style. You've made friends with a talking sheep who complains to you that she can't sleep. You've transformed the entire town with organized trees and flowers, and it looks stunning, all because of your hard work. Cozy games have been dominant in the industry over the past few years, but Animal Forest, along with Harvest Moon, they were the cool kids long before the genre even had a name. My wife plays only one video game series, that's it, and it happens to be this one. The hold it has on her is that strong. She went out and bought herself a 3DS and later a Switch Lite, solely to play these games. But there's something special about this original version before everything moved online. Back then, local multiplayer meant logging into the same town after someone logged off. I used to leave ridiculous, hateful messages on the bulletin board for Rachel and Andrew to find later. God, it was an absolute blast. As for how it looks, it's cute, though visually nothing to write home about by standard N64 metrics. The colors pop, the presentation draws you in, and the character models are adorable. When you factor in the massive variety of villagers, fish, insects, and seasonal events, it's no wonder people played this for years. It worms its way into your brain. You'll be outside mowing the lawn on a Saturday afternoon and suddenly think, I've got to hurry up. The fishing tournament starts in 10 minutes over in Pound Town. or whatever you decided to name your village. The music? This is where the game truly shined, and honestly, it still does to this day. Animal Forest has a fantastic soundtrack that is as soothing as it is catchy. Nintendo's audio team knew exactly what they were doing. Even KK Slider's weird, gibberish vocals, which were right there in the original N64 release, make me smile when they, by all rights, should be annoying the hell out of me. Sound designer Kazumi Totaka actually created the iconic Animalese speech system for this exact game, chopping up phonetic sounds and pitch shifting them so the console could produce spoken dialogue without blowing out the cartridge memory. Beyond that, Totaka composed 24 unique background themes, a distinct piece of music for every single hour of the day, with custom weather layers mixed in. The atmospheric detail they pulled off on a standard Nintendo 64 cartridge is remarkable. So how does it play? Well, it's Animal Forest. If you played Animal Crossing, you know there isn't a great deal to it. Hitting A and moving around is a breeze. There's no dragon punches or fatalities to perform. It's the ultimate pick up and play game. Animal Forest holds the distinct honor of being the very last Nintendo first-party title released for the Nintendo 64 in Japan. It also features some really neat little Easter eggs. One of my favorites, and a reason to check out this original release, happens if you knock on Tom Nook's closed shop door late at night. Knock 3 times, and the bastard will actually unlock the door, stumble out in his pajamas, and let you shop in a half-asleep daze, though he will charge you a markup for waking him up. Animal Forest on the Nintendo 64 might be a Japanese exclusive, and it might be a weird, buggy novelty to play in English today. But without this cartridge, we wouldn't have the franchise that saved everyone's sanity in 2020. And more importantly, I wouldn't have one of my absolute favorite memories of my wife with my son. That is why Animal Forest earns its spot at number 10 on Why64. I know some people will disagree with this choice, but using my M64, I'm actually playing through the English translated version right now. If I run into anything earth-shattering or game-breaking, I'll pin it in the comments below. Alright, so what's the score? What does this exclusive Japanese game with a broken English patch deserve from me on my 64-bit rating scale? Well, Animal Forest scores a whopping 58 out of 64 bits. Which, for those of you keeping score, is 90%. So, 5 episodes in, huh? We have 45 to go. Listen, I know I shrank this one down quite a bit, but I'm still new to this game. Don't get mad at me. I haven't been posting videos for very long, so I'm learning as I go. If this shorter format proves more successful, we'll keep moving forward with a tighter, more story-focused narrative. If the retention stays about the same, I'll delve back into the deeper technical flavors and navigate that sea. I want to give another huge thanks to Timski28 and Dark Templar 28 for this week's suggestions. And hey, please like and subscribe for more Why64. I'll see you guys next week.